One of these times I'll be done drinking before the show starts. I just don't know which time it will be.
I better silence the old phone for this one.
Well, yeah, especially because it's your day to give a lesson, so you
It
probably
is.
better.
It is.
You probably better do that. That's the most ideal, I think.
Look at identifying needs and desires.
That's a little birder told me that that's what you were going to be teaching us today. So I'm into it.
Good.
That's what we're going to do. So yeah, everybody, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you here for Friday.
People are slowly dripping in.
That's what it's about. Hey, that's like every party I've ever been to, man. Yeah, like, I mean, I've never hosted a gangbuster door yet. So the doorbuster, Jesus, dude, words mean things, Dillon. So we'll get there. I'm here for comedic relief because I can't talk today, apparently.
How's everybody's week going?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
How everybody's week's going.
Yeah.
What's everybody doing for their relationship?
Nothing.
Man, that's job security for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually did a bad thing not bad, but bad. On yesterday, actually, my wife got a snake and it needed fed. And I assumed she wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But what I assumed, there's the mistake. Everyone watching, there was the mistake, was I assumed that she wanted to do that. What she actually wanted was just the snake to be fed. And she was kind of annoyed that she took our kid to a ear, nose, and throat appointment. There was a total time 3 hours, including the drive.
Yeah.
So she got home and the snake was not fed. So my bad for assuming. And that we did navigate that conflict okay, but there was definitely conflict because I made an assumption.
Yeah. So, yuck, a snake, dude.
Dear listener,
yuck.
Don't make assumptions, and also don't yuck other people's yums.
Ugh, dude, snakes, I can't. They creep me out bad. You want to see a grown man scream like a girl? Have a snake crawl in front of me.
Everybody, you know what to send Ryan as a gift.
I'm not about the snakes, my man.
We all have our things, and in our relationship, that's the thing that isn't my thing at all. And I do my best to completely stay out of that territory. Like, she is a veterinarian. She's into animals.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that honestly, I could have gone my whole entire life without even having a dog. Like, it'd have been okay.
Yeah.
In some regards, it's just another thing I have to take care of.
Yes.
Don't hate me, dog and cat lovers. Like, I love them too, but I'd be okay without them.
Yeah.
So when she was like, what will happen is books will start showing up from Amazon that have to do with the species, and then all of a sudden it now lives in our house. So yeah, first there was a bearded dragon, then there was leopard geckos, and now there's a snake. So someday we'll probably have a room that's just reptile gardens. So whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, talking about snakes is scaring all our audience away, so we'll get off that because they're here for relationships and recovery, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, speaking of relationships and recovery, my name is Dillon Reed, sobriety coach. I help you get sober, help you stay sober through a very goal-driven program. So there you go, short and sweet, to the point. Now you know what I do. I'm a sober coach.
I'm Dr. Ryan. I am an expert in the field of relationship development and interpersonal communication. I'm also a relationship coach. That's what I do full time. And this is my little slam, I do what other coaches can't do because they don't have the background. And that is give you the tools necessary to move forward in your relationship and continue moving forward in your relationship.
Hell yeah. I got to bring this up real quick because I think it's important. We just had a fan that said we need the soundboard back, and I think maybe I'll have to bring it back. Just saying. You could probably do that.
Might have to.
So together, when our powers combine, we are Dillon in the doc. We talk relationships and recovery. So there you go. There's the spiel. This week we get Ryan teaching us about stuff. So
Yeah.
the doctor is in the house this week. So here you go. Any news? Anything notable?
Nothing notable on this front, man. It's just been one of those weeks where you just keep pushing through.
Hey, sometimes those happen, man.
Yeah.
You know, we can't be dealt the perfect hand every week as much as we wish that we could, right?
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, it hasn't been awful.
hey, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it can always be a lot worse.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I did get shirts. I
Did
told
you?
everybody I told everybody I was gonna have them made. I actually like own them now, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then in other news, there was a third grade teacher in Oklahoma that was arrested for being drunk at like the first day of school. So, hey, if you think alcohol is not pervasive in our society, you don't pay attention. So there you go. Nothing like a third grade teacher showing up to work drunk on the first day.
Oh, I saw that. That was, dude, that was amazing.
Yeah, like way to go, everybody.
Dude, she blew at 0.24, almost 0.25.
Yeah. I mean,
Three times the legal limit.
yeah, dude. I usually don't wear this badge of honor, but I blew a 0.3 something when I went and checked myself into rehab. So
Damn.
yeah, it's not cool. I actually wrote about it in my book this last week, talking about how I used to think it was like cool and pound my chest about it. And now I'm like, it's not cool. It's foolish. Like,
Yeah.
oh, congratulations. You can poison yourself. You can hurt yourself. Like you rock, you know?
Yeah.
It took me some sobriety to get that perspective though. So I have it now.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. So,
It's weird how some of those things like that people hold on to as a badge of honor. Like ridiculous things like, oh,
yeah,
I blew up, like you said, a 0.3 something going into treatment.
yeah,
It,
yeah.
it's not like a badge.
No.
And like uh
Do you ever see that in relationships at all? Like things like that kind of?
it's they wear things like a badge of honor, like uh I'm the quietest person. Like they should be proud of being the quietest person in the relationship.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't
Yeah.
speak up for my needs at all.
Yeah. Like they have really strange badges of honor when they come and talk to me. But here's the thing, when they state those things, I immediately know what the problem is.
Gotcha.
Because they're these bullshit badges that they're trying to hold on to.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean like one I always think of, I always go back to this one because it just is insane in my head still, is I had a boss that I worked for who would I can't you'd hear it multiple times a year how he never changed any of his kids' diapers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like, that's not the like. So you're bragging about not taking an active role in your kids' lives. Like, what the hell,
Yeah.
dude?
Yeah.
Um,
Not
you
helping
know,
around the house.
yeah, dude.
Like
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Why would you hold that as a badge of honor?
yeah. I'm the least participative partner in this relationship. I'm
Yeah.
proud of that. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like it's weird as hell to me, dude.
But it clicks with you and you're like, well, like this didn't take long to figure out what the problem is and what we need to fix. Like you need to be more involved in the relationship.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, I think we all, yeah, I actively work on it. I still know that I can do better. There's not a day that goes by where I don't have a thing where I go, I wish I would have done that just a little bit better, handled that just a little
Yeah.
bit better,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe someday I'll be some perfect romantic relationship robot, but I'm not that guy at this point, Like I said earlier, I assumed earlier. So
the other one that shows up that is like, um, they brag about how much they play video games, or they brag about how much they go out and hang out with their friends.
with the boys.
Yeah, with the boys. How much I'm gonna go fishing. I'm out golfing every single weekend. I'm out fishing 4 days a week. I I leave the house for 2 months in the winter to go hunting. Like, it's immediate, or like, uh I don't know, we drink a 12 pack after work.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
it's weird. The strange thing to me is it's weird that people hold on to these things thinking that it makes them somehow either more masculine
that's
or stronger, or
that's it.
it it gives them some badge that they're stronger, when in reality it just makes them a weaker individual.
Dude, so do you know who Wes Watson is? Have you ever heard of him?
Uh-uh.
He's like his personal development coach, dude. Like whatever, it's not really about him, but he had this piece where he was talking about how basically as a dude, you should just have a woman in your corner and you should be able to do whatever you need as long as you're taking care of her. And if you're like, and when I say taking care of her, like giving her money more than
Oh,
anything, like
yeah.
supporting her, right? And if you're doing that, then she should just be like giving you back rubs and feeding you and like very old school, like
Mhm.
early 20th century perspective on what a relationship is, right? And I saw somebody post this like a repost of him saying all this stuff, and I just and I don't for the record I don't comment a lot at all almost on
Yeah.
Facebook, and I was just like all it made me I was think it made me think about our show and the things we talk about, and I was just like I was like dude, like that doesn't work. Like that's not
Mm-mm.
supportive. Like you're not supporting your partner by just going and making money. Like you need to have like deep, intimate, meaningful connection with people.
Yeah.
And that's what he was bagging on. He was bagging on these like new age coaches that are telling and wealthy guys that are saying like I spend time to like nurture my relationship with my
Yeah.
wife and stuff, right? And the dude was like the guy that posted it came back and he was just like, you know, he didn't want to get into it. I was like, he's like, I don't think that's what that means. And I was like, then what does it mean? Like, please
Yeah.
outline to me what it means. I don't want to get into it. It was
Uh-uh.
like, of course you don't, dude,
Yeah.
because there's no excuse. Like, I don't care how much money you make. I, you still need to foster a meaningful relationship with your spouse. Like, you
Mhm.
don't just get it. Like, and the reason what jogged that in my brain was you talking about the guy. And I'm not knocking hunting. I love hunting. I've
Yeah.
really enjoyed hunting,
Yeah.
but I am not the like archer that goes out for the whole entire season to get the trophy and you're just gone every weekend. And I'm just not that guy. Cause like I got 4 kids. My wife would
Yeah.
she fucking hate me if I did that. We'd not be getting along, you know? So I was just thinking it's like almost it's the same kind of concept. Like I make enough money, I'm man enough. I get to do what I want. I'm
Yeah.
good enough at hunting.
Yeah.
I get to do what I want. Like,
Yeah.
is that how that works?
No, unless that's your job and that's what's bringing money into the family.
Totally. Totally.
No, then it's fine.
Yeah. 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 And then even then, man, I mean, I have to make a boundary between my job and my family. Like
Yeah.
I 100% would have more business if I worked at nights. Like
Yeah.
if I would be willing to meet one-on-one with coaching clients at night, because like I work a normal schedule, like banker's hours, when other people are also working. So there's some clients that can't work with me because of that. But
Yeah.
my family matters. And I'm not going to go to my wife, well, I make more money now, so just deal with the kids. Like that's just not how these things work or should. And also you don't have to have kids to also have that boundary. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and there's boundaries set in relationships.
Yeah.
Some women, like, they love being able to just take care of the kids, like, that is their full-time job, and they're very, very good at it.
Yeah.
It's when my problem becomes when the dude is like, "Oh, I'm the breadwinner," but then tries to nitpick and tell them what they can and cannot spend their money on.
I'm with
And,
you there.
like, they can't, "I don't want you spending money on self-care stuff." I don't want you spending money. Like I'm the one going out and making all the money. I don't want you spending money on this shit to get your nails done. Self-care, like normal self-care stuff. No, here's the real talk, dude. If you want to be the breadwinner, you better be able to make enough money for her
Share the
to
bread.
take care of her.
Yeah, you better be able to share the bread.
Without
Also,
without thinking, oh, you're spending too much on yourself. That shouldn't be a thought.
yeah,
Like
no,
if you want to man up and be the breadwinner, then man up and be the breadwinner and don't bitch about where the money's going.
totally. Yeah.
That's my thought on it.
Yeah. Or she could get a job.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
she does get to, decide how she spends the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you can tell that you and I are heavily from energy country, because that's a very common theme there.
Oh yeah.
Some dude's out on the rigs. He's got some lady at home spending his money. Not that there's anything wrong with that, like we said, but you don't get mad. Like my thoughts are, why the hell are you making that money then? Like, what's the point of making all that money if you're going to get upset if she wants to spend some of it?
Well,
like,
it's not that he's making the money; it's that he expects her to be at home and not be the breadwinner, not be out working.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a control mechanism, using money as a control mechanism.
That's gross.
Yeah, and that's not the other, like the women who want to stay home, take care of the kids. There's a healthy relationship. Those aren't even questions in that relationship. There has been a mutual agreement between the two that, hey, I'm going to stay home. Struggling, to be honest.
Well, what do we got going on there?
I don't know.
Like how mid thought you were like, boop.
Yeah, like if there's a mutually agreed upon financial goal, you both are reaching it. You both are working towards it.
Yeah.
If there's a mutually agreed upon like career path for both of you, one of you is a stay-at-home mom to take care of the kids, to do those things. He's going to do this. Like your goals should all tie together. It's when you have a lack of clear goals and you use money negatively to control somebody, that's when it becomes a problem.
Do you see that very often?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I assume that's unfortunately a common theme.
Well, I'm the one, it's always, well, I'm the one that makes all the money. That can't be your excuse. That can't be your argument. That is ridiculous. I mean, if you really want it to.
Yeah.
No,
I hear you. I hear you, man.
It boggles my mind when people, well, I'm the one that makes the money. Cool.
Then make it and then let somebody spend it.
But
too.
that has zero bearing on how you treat someone.
Totally.
None.
Yeah. Especially if you're keeping her home to take care of the kids. And that's always one that's interesting too, is like when she's home to take care of the kids, allowing you to be out working, and then you're upset when she wants to spend some of the money. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But at the same time, then they're like, I make all the money, I can spend it on what I want. No, you cannot. You are in a relationship. Whether you make it or not, you're in a relationship, and those decisions are mutual.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally agreed.
Well, let's ask Tammy two things. A, what are you struggling to be honest about? And
no, I think she's talking about when she says she's struggling, like I'm struggling, comma, to be honest.
Oh,
I think.
Okay.
I think. I already learned my lesson about assuming on Thursday with my wife. Okay, so I'm not making that assumption, but I think that's what's going on. The house I live in, flip-flopping, and just if you could provide us a little bit of clarity, I'd love to help in whatever capacity we can. Just need to know what you need, what you got going on.
I live in, flip-flopping. I'm not sure what flip-flopping refers to.
Oh, I don't. Yeah. If you could give us a little bit more details, I'd love to discuss kind of what you have going on. So I think I feel like we've beat up.
Oh, it's sober living.
Oh, dude.
I'm gonna let you go off on this one.
Right. A little bit of experience here. Um, I guess the question when you say flip flopping is, are you talking about new roommates coming in and out and dealing with that whole revolving door of relational dynamics? Um, which, dude, I haven't talked a lot on the show about this, but that's like one of the most important things in recovery, specifically early recovery, is relationships, because that's how we experience joy. Like joy and happiness aren't the same. Joy is something we experience only relationally, and it's when you're excited to see someone and they're excited to see you. Happiness is situational, joy is relational, right? So sober living can be a very destructive environment in early recovery because of that. That's the thing. Like that should be an asterisk when you go to sober living, but it's not something that people talk about, because when you are in a situation where you're not stoked to see the people around you, that's a damn good excuse to relapse for anyone with any addiction, even if it's sneaking in the closet and eating a whole bunch of Oreos. Like that is facts.
Mhm.
So I am very curious if that's what Tammy's kind of talking about. If you could
My
provide a little details.
yeah, and my 2 cents on the interpersonal portion. A rule of thumb to live by when you're dealing with a bunch of new people is it's always easier to understand other people than it is to make them understand you.
Mm-hmm.
Come at it from an empathetic stance.
Yeah,
Don't become defensive, don't become judgmental until you have the facts, until you've talked to them and understand what's going on,
totally, totally.
because those dynamics are hard to navigate
Yeah,
if you're not doing it in the right way.
yeah. We had there. Oh, yeah. Then that's super hard what you're talking about here. I don't know what the stipulations of the sober living place is that you're in. I don't know what the rules are. I don't, because I mean, it is it part of a rehab campus? Is it a dude? Because there's a lot of sober living out there that's a dude that owns a house that rents to only people that are getting sober. And that can be super toxic because they can become very tyrannical. They can also bend rules all the time because they got to pay rent, because they got a mortgage, whatever those things might be. I don't know what that looks like, but um, what's important for you to recognize and remember is that you're still in control of your sobriety and your recovery, regardless of the chronic relapsers that are coming in and out of the situation. Um, and it's not the most fun, but you can cohabitate with people that you're not friends with, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't associate with them outside of the fact you have to like share the same four walls and a kitchen every once in a while. Um, I don't know what I don't. Excuse me, sorry. It's really hard to speak on it because it's such a varied experience. Even my own personals, there's like a whole spectrum of experiences I had in sober living.
Yeah.
When I was in rehab, it was an on-campus facility, and it was co-ed, and we ended up in a house with part women, part men. That was interesting. It was a very interesting dynamic. And one of them, this was hard for me. Um, I had a huge aversion for meth addicts early on in my recovery. Because I mean, I don't think people should do meth. Don't like don't I'm not saying that. But I mean them I judged all of them unfairly because of a very negative experience I had earlier on in life. So then I just like, no, don't like you at all, no matter what. And there was this girl that I decided I did not like earlier who ended up becoming a roommate of mine. And I had to learn some lessons real quick that like, don't be a judgmental asshole, because she actually is a very nice lady. And as she's got sober, she stayed sober and she's made a lot of good decisions with her life. So if you're dealing with that, maybe try to be supportive of the chronic relapsers as best you can if you have an interest in doing that. Um, Earn yourself some relational capital. And the more empathetic you are, the more capacity you have to be helpful to people, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Focus on you, focus on your goals, and focus on your future.
amen. Yeah. I mean,
If that's not where you want to be and they keep letting relapsers in, focus on doing the best you can to get out of that situation.
totally, and if there's usually I don't know where you're at, so it's hard to make, I'm going to pull out my handy, broad generalization paintbrush real quick, but you could usually find somewhere else, another place for sober living in your community. There's not usually just one, hopefully, for your sake, if that's what you need to do. But I think the most important thing is you need to take action for you here to keep yourself safe, right? Is that probably the best broad takeaway for anybody?
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, super general, and I'm sorry that it is so general.
There has to be somebody in the comments or who's watching who's been in this situation who can either ask a question or shed some light on their own experience.
Yeah. I mean, because trust me, I will wax poetic about my experience in sober living if you want, but I don't know that that's what you're here for. So yeah, I kind of would like to talk a little bit about, because I think it ties in very well with what you're going to teach us.
Okay.
I want to talk about some joy, some
Joy?
joyful living, some joyful living. Wait a second. Maybe I lied. We got a question, man. Which actually, hey, I can still wrap this in, buddy. Watch me work my magic. Greg asks if all addictions are rooted in the same part of the brain. And the answer is yes. Using spectral imaging scans of the brain, the same. I mean, to varying degrees is maybe the best way to describe it. Like, certain substances may cause more. I use the term damage very loosely because it's not organic brain damage we're talking about here, but it will rewiring of neural circuits. Like methamphetamines will create what appear to be giant holes. They're not actual holes. There's just not a lot of activity going on at that time, right? That's what you're doing when you're getting sober, is allowing new neural networks, reviving old neural networks, that kind of thing. But yes, you've got stuff going on with the basal ganglia. You have things going on with the amygdala. You have things going on with the preorbital cortex. You have the cingulate cortex. Those are the main areas where you've got things going on in your brain with addiction. And it doesn't matter whether the addiction is to a substance or a behavior. It could be a behavior, it can be an event, it can be an experience, it can be a person, and it can be a substance. Those are like the 5 things that we find ourselves addicted to. And it doesn't matter what one of those categories the thing falls into. It can be the same thing, including love and codependency, my friend. So SPECT scans look the same under that as well. So then how do I turn this into joy?
Yeah.
How do I do that? So it has been proven that you have, and these are different. When I talk about these 4 areas of the brain, they function at different levels: above conscious thought, at conscious thought, below conscious thought. When you're looking at the basal ganglia and the amygdala, that's all below conscious thought. It's like reptilian, non-human thinking that's going on. You're not thinking. Unfortunately, it happens faster than conscious thought. That's why these habits are so difficult to break, because you get a trigger and the first thought that crosses your head isn't the one that, oh, I want to stay sober. It's the one that let's go do the thing, right? So the way that you fix those things is you get yourself out of fear and out of insecurity. And the way you get out of fear and insecurity is you experience joy relationally with other people. That's how you do it. That's the trick. It's not the whole how, but that's definitely the what on how you can work towards escaping addiction, and that's where joy comes in, because so many of us try to hinge recovery on happiness, which is situational. Like, oh, I'm happy today, I don't want to drink.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not happy today, I'm going to go get wrecked at the pub. Now, if we have it built relationally on relationships with people, those things don't sway in the wind so much. And if they do sway in the wind so much, that's probably not a good relationship to be in the first place. Just pointing that out there. you should be experiencing joy and stability in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, is that so? There, now I've handed it off to you for the relationship man.
But it's not
over
all
here.
it's not all joy. I don't want people to get
Totally.
confused with that.
Yeah. No.
There is so there's a magic ratio that was shown in research, 5 to 1, 5 positive experiences to every 1 negative experience.
Sounds like a good
And
use of word.
that's what a healthy relationship is, because a negative experience is typically conflict in some sort, but those people who have these 5 positive things before the 1 negative typically understand how to deal with that conflict in a healthy way,
Totally.
so that
Totally.
it goes away pretty quick, and then they're right back onto these positive interactions that are happening. So it's not one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Totally. Yeah, and the way that the addict's brain, through the experiences of joy, those 5 experiences, what happens is
Mhm.
that rewiring allows us to have the emotional capacity to deal with the conflict when it comes. So yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I shouldn't leave my wife after her being upset that I was assuming yesterday, because I have had more positive, positive
Yeah,
engagements.
yeah.
So okay.
That's just kind of the magic ratio they've found in healthy relationships.
And I mean that makes sense. And like, we should probably also mention, like, don't start keeping track of your 5 to 1 because you
No.
might get a slew of 10 really good days and then 2 bad days, and like that doesn't mean you call it quits. Like, that's not the way that we should be doing things, right?
No,
Um,
it's not. You have 5 good things, and then all of a sudden you wanna bring up a problem and start shit. Like, that's not how it works. It's an average, it's a ratio.
right. Hey, look, 5 things have happened, babe. I'm gonna go do something stupid. I'll be right
Yeah,
back. Like,
yeah.
yeah. Now that sounds like a perfect self-fulfilling prophecy that us human beings love to do anyways.
Oh,
It's like,
100%.
just let's jam this in our head. Had 5 good days. It's Saturday. It's time.
And
Just
if you don't clarify that, like in short form video, if you don't clarify that, somebody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, we had 2 arguments this week and we only had 6 good times." No, you had more than 6. You went to bed happy, you probably had sex, you kissed them, you hugged them, you
yeah,
supported them in some way.
sure.
Things happened that were positive. You're thinking about it in different terms.
That's, to me, the most difficult part of what we do
Yeah.
is, like, I have to make short form content. I've
Yeah.
been kind of lacking lately, but I have to, because that's what people consume, right?
Yeah.
That's how I can be most useful to people. But you have to be very careful. Like, okay, how do I word this so that somebody doesn't twist up what I have to say and use it to justify? Because that's what addicts love doing. I don't know so much on the relationship end, but addicts are in love with justifying shit behavior. So they'll take
Yeah.
anything anything I say and do what they can. Like, well, I'm going to take this and go home and talk to my wife about, well, I saw the sobriety coach and he said it's okay for me to keep drinking for the next couple months because eventually it'll get better, And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not what I said. So yeah, this can be very difficult. Um, Dude, what do you think about people's needs and desires?
Man, it's a big one.
Good.
So really what I'm going to talk about is identifying.
Hey,
So I want to understand what they are, and I want to kind of give people an idea
I just want to let you know
how to identify needs and desires.
I'm pretty bummed because I was expecting that in this next 15 to 20 minutes, you were going to give me the answer to life, the universe, and everything,
Oh,
including
there
how to completely satisfy my wife's needs and desires. So
no. If you if
you're
you
welcome,
want the
Greg.
magic sauce, you can email me. You can join my mentorship program. You can join the masterclass. You can join anything and get the full answer to this, but there's just not enough time here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I learn a lot here, but there's way more behind the scenes. So this is how you do. This is how you do it. Right down
This is how we do it. This is
there.
big 30,000 foot view of understanding needs and desires. But I hope somebody I hope people can take some stuff away from what I'm about to tell y'all.
Well, all I know is that I have never been on a show with you that I have not taken a gold nugget home from. So, and I don't think I'm special. Like, I don't have some magical comprehension skill where I'm like, ha, I found the thing he was teaching us.
Found it.
Yep. Yeah, got him. No, I'm 100% sure that you'll have something that will be valuable.
So the first thing I want to do is really distinguish, because this is where people get so messed up in their relationship, the difference between a need and a want. There is a difference, and everybody thinks that their needs, they think that their wants are actual needs. So here's how they differ in a relationship. Needs are essential. So they're requirements for your emotional, your psychological, and the well-being of your relationship. They're also non-negotiable. This is where the bedrock of a strong relationship comes from.
Yeah.
And when we neglect needs, it leads to a lot of dissatisfaction and a lot of strain, both when we neglect our needs and our partners. That's where codependence comes in. We put our needs on the back burner for the needs of our partner.
Totally. Yeah.
So here are the examples I want to give everybody of what actual needs are. Emotional support, trust, respect, open communication, shared values, safety within the relationship, accountability, responsibility. All of these things are needs. And everybody typically has slightly varying specific needs, but there are common core needs that are vital to relationships. When we talk about it, emotional support, trust, respect, accountability, communication, shared values, and a sense of safety. Those are all core to a relationship. And then your needs take priority. So your needs and helping address your partner's needs takes precedence over fulfilling wants. Because these needs directly have a direct influence on the overall health of and wellness of the relationship. So when both partners feel their needs are understood, the relationship becomes this place where we feel secure, we feel loved, and we feel fulfilled. Without the needs, we don't feel those things. It's when our needs aren't being met, it's a very chaotic feeling because we're searching for those needs to be met elsewhere, when the relationship should be fostering a place of fulfillment for those needs. And here's how they differ. So there's wants. So we're talking about needs and wants. Wants are desire based. These are preferences that contribute to enhancing the quality of the partnership. Their individual preferences, interests, and personal histories, hobbies, specific forms of affection. So this is where the love languages really just digs a knife into me that I'm like, oh my God.
I saw it. I just saw that coming from a mile away. I was like, oh, here it comes. Ryan's favorite thing to talk about.
Here it comes. And like I've said before, the love languages, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem how people have interpreted it and how these so-called gurus are putting it into place in relationships. Like, this is how you fix a relationship. The 5 love languages. Therapists are even doing it, which is driving me even more nuts. Anyways, I want to
we're at episode 21, and the show now has deep cuts in its own source of lore at this
Yeah.
point. We now have this historical reference to how much Ryan absolutely loves how people interpret love languages.
Yes. The
So,
idea behind it's good, but you have to understand now that we're talking about needs and wants, love languages is a want.
yeah,
And like my mom always said, want in one hand, shit in the other, see which fills up first.
dang it.
Kind of that sort of thing. But off of the love languages thing here for a second. Uh, okay, so flexibility. Wants are also much more flexibility than our needs. Um, and while they contribute to kind of the overall fulfillment in the relationship, they are always, our wants are always secondary to addressing the needs of each other. Um, so like I said, those examples of a want. So the examples of the needs were support, trust, respect, open communication. Examples of a want would be a hobby, affection, experiences, lifestyle choices that add joy and excitement to the relationship. These are all wants. So, kind of to wrap all that part up, these needs are essential pillars that form the foundations of a healthy relationship that you're going to have. Wants, on the other hand, contribute to enhancing the relationship's quality. It adds layers of joy. There we go. And experience.
There you go.
Want is for my husband to give up drinking. And then, okay, so how do we identify what our needs are and what our desires are? So we've got three forms of needs. We have our emotional, our physical, and our relational needs. So one thing to do when we're talking about our emotional needs, and this works really well, is to think back. This takes a little bit of self-awareness here. And if you've been following along, it's something you should be working on daily in your life. So think back. If you've been following us for the past 5 months, it's something you should be working on. So just think back on times that you felt particularly fulfilled or content or happy in life. And then at the same time, what was happening in your life at those moments? So this is going to help us figure out what these needs are, because at this time in life, we felt fulfilled, content, and happy. Why were we feeling content and happy? Because our emotional needs were being met. So what are those emotions that we were feeling at that time that we need to address and that we need to make sure are on the forefront? You can also, on the other side, think about these situations where you felt angry, frustrated, dissatisfied, upset. What was missing? So you're kind of playing scientist in your life when you're talking about emotional needs. So think about the thing and then think about why that thing was happening and kind of reverse engineer it.
I really love that.
Yeah. So you want to pay attention to the emotions that are coming up in these situations, be it positive or negative. Are there certain feelings that consistently emerge? And if these are the feelings that emerge, these feelings often point to underlying needs. So we're love, respect, validation, belonging, support, understanding, acceptance. These are all examples of emotional needs that we have in the relationship. And the loved one is the one I saw this thing online and it was super, super useful, because when we say love and we tell our partner, I want to I want to feel loved in the relationship, they take that as I just need to tell you I love you more often. That's not what they're asking for. That is not how you fulfill your partner's need for love. You do it by being consistent in how you show up for your partner. You do it by demonstrating a safe environment in the home, even when you're upset. So you have control of your emotions. You do it by following through on your commitments and your promises. Um, you make an effort towards being a healthier partner. You respect boundaries without pushing back. You set and hold your own boundaries. Um, you work together to find a solution to the problem.
Don't assume.
Don't
You
assume.
don't assume.
You choose your partner as a priority with your time and your behaviors. Um, and you make decisions that prioritize the connection over convenience. And if nobody understands what connection over convenience means, you need to get a hold of me because that is a big one. If somebody feels like they're just a convenience, they are not feeling loved. Okay, that's emotional. And then we have physical. Um, Physical needs, hunger, tired, discomfort. I mean, if you go to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can kind of put all these into those things. Those are needs. So think about activities that energize you. Dillon and I work out. That is a need in our life to be healthy, to fight off tiredness, to energize us, to allow us to be the best version of ourselves for our partners and our clients. Um, so, example of your physical needs. Dillon's favorite, adequate rest. Nourishment, exercise, relaxation, comfort, and safety. These are all physical needs that we have. And then relational needs. Here you want to think about the dynamics or interactions you value in relationships. What qualities do you seek in other people? And then think about these situations that have led to conflicts or misunderstandings in your relationships. This is where it gets really awesome to play scientist with yourself and work on your self-awareness. So, what needs were possibly not being met in those times of conflict or misunderstandings? Because I guarantee you there's a need not being met. You're not mad because he was out with his friends. You're mad because your emotional and physical needs were not being met or were not being respected. You're not mad that he's
Yeah.
playing video games. You're mad that needs weren't being met.
Dang.
And I just want to go back to this one because somebody said it.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for a comment that said, "Oh, my only want is my husband to completely give up drinking." You can take this, Barb just said it, put it into the relational needs. Yes, you want it, but it's based in a need.
Yeah.
It's based in a relational need. I'm guessing multiple, physical and emotional. I'm guessing he's emotionally distant. I'm guessing physically, it's an unsafe environment, right? If you're trying to get sober and he's not, that's a safety concern for your sobriety, your own personal well being. And then a relational need: trust, open communication, quality time, emotional intimacy, shared values, mutual respect. The
Just
relational,
throw them all out.
just throw them all out there on that one because the trust is gone. Open communication, I'm guessing, is gone. Quality time is gone. I guarantee that. Emotional intimacy has decreased. You no longer have shared values in that sense. And with him drinking while you're trying to get sober, there's a huge lack of mutual respect.
Well, yeah, and also, I mean, even I mean, let's call a spade here. Even if she's not trying to get sober, when we're drinking, even if it's solo, right? There's a lack of mutual respect, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, that was the hardest pill for me to swallow when I got sober, was just how selfish and dickish I had been for
Yeah.
so long. So yeah.
And then your desires are kind of the same thing. You have to do this exploration of your aspirations, your preferences, your values. So you have emotional, physical, and relational desires that need to be met. Um, Emotional, you want to feel joy, peace, excitement, passion, love, connection. All of these things are felt. And again, think back on times where you did feel peace, where you felt passion. Why were you feeling peace? What was happening? Why were you feeling so much passion? Um, and then physical, your health, your relaxation, your comfort, your energy, and relational desires, trust, empathy, companionship, deep conversations, shared experiences. These are all desires. And even in my weekend workbook, my Reconnect workbook, I ask people to name what their passions and desires are. And so many people have such a difficult time. They don't understand what desire is or what a passion is. And they're very personal. So I can't be like, this is what you're passionate about. I have to walk them through that. Think about a time when there was a lot of value in your relationship. How would you like to feel when you're with the people, with your wife or your partner? What These are the desires that need to come about.
Yeah.
So here's an example. We look at these core values, and they are the principles that kind of guide what choices you make in life. So your desires are often going to align with your values. So we look at a value. I have a core value of adventure. What would that mean my desire might be? Any guesses?
Do
If
you
your
want to
core
go
value is
skydiving?
yeah, like it could be something like that. If it's adventure, like I have a desire to go do these things when we're on vacation. I want to go skydiving. I want to go bungee jumping. I want to go rock climbing. I want to try new things.
Yeah.
Um, it might also be just travel, like that simple. I would like to travel more because I have this core value of adventure and I'm not getting it. Um, this is all part of just this ongoing sense of self reflection. That's all it is. You have to empower yourself to make these choices that align with your authentic self and contribute to overall happiness. And what you need to understand is your partner's there to help you do that. And you need to talk through these things with your partner because you need to identify theirs as well because you need to be able to support them. And this is where the big lesson starts to come in is how do I express my needs to my partner? How do I listen to what their needs are? What happens if some of our needs and desires are misaligned? Those are some of the questions that I start to answer in the program that stumble a lot of people, which like the answer is not super difficult. It's just lengthy.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not, let's call the whole thing off, right?
No, it's
Like, our needs aren't the same.
active listening. We've already talked about that. If you've been following along with the show, you're pretty much getting the course for free,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just in weird little chunks all over the place.
Right. I mean,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the basis of it, because then all of this Then I talk about how do we communicate it. And I mean, there's nearly 15 steps just to communicating your desires. It's a long program. It's a long portion of the program, but it's super necessary, as I hope you can see.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is identifying your needs and desires in a very 30,000 foot view.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ryan. Yeah, no, I just always, I do always just take so much away. I have like, I'm sure the viewers can like see on my face when I have like these aha moments. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
yeah, I see. That makes sense now. Um, yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Again,
you're welcome.
you know,
Yeah, that was a lot of
I
fun.
just pay you in my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, hey, I just have to show up and hang out with you. Um, yeah, so dear listener, if any of you have any questions, um, direct them to Dr. Ryan at the matchboxlab@gmail.com. Or you drop them in the comments if you're here right now. We don't have a whole lot of time left in the show tonight because not tonight, today, because we do have a double header tonight.
Yes, we do.
We'll be here again at 9 p.m. Central to take even more of your questions. I do really quick. Can we hit one real quick before we?
Yeah, let's
I don't
do
want
it.
to cut you off. Are you done?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. I don't want to like boom, but
Hit me
I
with
just
it.
I do want to bring this up real quick. Barb says that she's turning her husband's drinking over to God. She can't do anything, and mainly her concern is she doesn't want to be nagging him, and doesn't want to live in fear that he is or isn't drinking. And I think that's a huge, very common concern in spouses. I have a lot of spouses that do reach out to me about their husband's drinking. Yes, Chris, 10 p.m. East Coast. So I don't want to like diminish the value you place in God. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying like don't let God do God's part, but I also know that God wants us to do our part too. Like that's whatever your God is, whatever your higher power is. Like we are supposed to be taking an active role in the life that we live. So don't just like Jesus take the wheel and drive kind of deal with a relationship in your life and your happiness and all those things. I can't tell you what to do, but my suggestion is do not 100% say screw it, because the problem is it becomes permissive to your husband that you no longer are going to voice your opinion, your views, and your thoughts and your needs, as Ryan so eloquently pointed out, that it's not a want for you, it's a need that your husband gets sober. If you don't voice that, potentially nothing will urge him to want to stop. Ryan, you think I did a decent job with that?
Yeah, and I wanted to add to that, like, it's not that she needs him to quit, it's that her needs aren't being fulfilled.
Yeah.
And the nagging, yeah, that is 100% ineffective.
Yeah.
I'll just go out and say it. It's never going to accomplish anything. You need to have open and honest communication, setting boundaries, and explaining what your needs are and how they need to be fulfilled, and get on the same page with that.
Yeah.
But first, you have to identify what your needs are that are not being fulfilled, because without that information, you can't move forward and have an honest conversation about anything.
It's almost like a really good time for Barb to have been on
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
And I do want to point out that the very least effective strategy my wife ever had in leading to and trying to maintain any sort of sobriety in my life was to nag. And when I say to nag, was to ask me if I'd been drinking, if I wanted to drink, if I was going to drink, or any of those questions, because they're not useful. They're not helpful. They don't promote they're not supportive is the biggest thing. Like those are not supportive questions. They are coming from a place of fear. Like you're kind of talking about, like, oh my God, I don't want him to drink. Well, we kind of get that. And I don't know. I mean, don't know your husband, but most addicts that I've ever worked with or talked to don't really want to drink anymore either. Most of us. So take that take what you will from that. Is that it, dude? We put a bow on it. I mean,
yeah, I just want to say yes, Chris, 10 p.m. East.
Yep.
That is the time we will be here.
Yep. So we'll see you guys guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you this evening in about 5 hours.
Yeah.
So,
thanks for hanging out, everybody.
yeah, and contact at DillonandTheDoc.com would be our collective email address. If you ever want to reach out to Dillon or Dr. Ryan, contact at DillonandTheDoc.com. There you go.
Yep.
Cool. Catch you guys later.
Later.
Bye.